want to clear something up because I noticed this on my Facebook page. And before we get into Canine Echo really quick, is that there were people like yesterday who are not familiar with my work and thought that I was siding with the sheriff and not reporting accurately. So for those people, you don't know me. You must be new. I've been doing advocacy for animals for 30 years. And I don't care about your agenda. What I do care about, or who I do care about, is the animal. That's why animals are welcome and people are these days barely tolerated. So we'll get that out of the way first. Second of all, I've had a really in-depth conversation with the sheriff. I had a conversation with Sheriff Urbino, Benny Martinez, also with the county attorney Ramos, and I've had many conversations with former Brooks County Deputy John Gomez. So, and the other thing is too, this is in Brooks County and this is Falfurrias. So you would not know to say Falfurrias if you didn't know what it was like there, if you haven't been there. So I've been there. I know where it is. I know the people there. And that's how I was able to talk with people today. The sheriff, I'll just say this. First of all, you want to know how Echo is doing, right? Echo is, he's, right now, who's this? So it is a very small community, indeed. There are 2 vets in Brooks County, I believe, and that's it. But I just want to say how Echo is doing right now. And if you remember, there were 2 videos that went out. The one video is, I'm so glad you're on this. Just a girl saving dogs. My TikTok account was banned because of, I told the truth on so many things. So here's the thing. So Echo is in that kennel, or in the kennel that's at that ranch, that they took him to. It's about 20 minutes from the sheriff's office. Not the one where there was all that water in it from that big downpour. I love you too. It's the one where you saw former deputy Gomez go over there. It was 9:54 on Saturday night because he showed his phone and with the time stamp. And there was no food and there was no water. And you remember the green water bowl? That's what I figured happened to your TikTok account. Yeah, I tell the truth, and they don't want to hear it. So I'm going here. I'm not going to be censored in any way, shape, or fashion. So that's why I'm doing this right now, because I love animals. I don't care about your agenda. What I do care about is the animal. Okay? So Echo is in that kennel. They've been able to feed him. But the thing is, and water him, but, at that ranch. But the thing is, at this point, can you imagine what Echo is going through? First of all, I learned today that Echo is 10 years old. Echo is 10. To me, and he's been with, Deputy Gomez for 8.5 years. So the first 1.5 years of his life, and then he's been with John Gomez for 8.5 years. So how would you feel if, you think your partner, just left you, and is just bye? I mean, sadly that happens with people and their dogs, but with a canine, okay. So Echo is not in a good space head-wise right now, and actually he's been biting. He's known to be a biter, and the only person I'm told is who is John, who can control that. So he didn't die. Let's not get that in there. No, Echo is not dead. Echo is alive. He could be in a better place right now, meaning the situation he finds himself in that kennel, as well as the fact that he could be with the guy who he's been with for 8.5 years, and he's not. So those are my points about Echo. That was the most important thing. Echo is alive, right, and he needs his handler and best friend John. I'm asking if his owner passed. No one's died. No one's passed away. And I wanted to also tell you that Canine Echo was a donation, I'm told, to the... He won't be alive for long with this heat and no water. I just said he ate tonight, and he had water. Remember, folks, I am here as an animal advocate. I am not here as someone who just happened to find a story and I'm giving you a biased report. Listen to my words, because I don't care about you. Again, I care about the animal. And any true animal advocate would say the very same thing. Okay? So, at this point, I want to get on with who the people that I've had the discussions with. Thank you. Listen, people. Anybody else in here talk with the sheriff, the county judge, and John? No. I had the information, so can I just say it? God. You know, animal advocates calling me today and telling me what to do. I'm done with that. I've got it. Here it is. So it's ultimately up to I'm not going to look at the comments right now because it's aggravating me. It's ultimately up to the sheriff to decide at this point in time what will happen with Echo. I spoke with him at length, and he said there's a possibility he might want to have Echo retrained, and that means there would need to be another handler, and John Gomez was the only handler there. And I gave the sheriff some unsolicited advice. I said, Sheriff, the dog's 10 years. He's 10 years old. He's been with the same handler, his colleague, for 8.5 years. The only person he's really ever known. And you want to rip that apart. And the thing is here, and this happens in so many ways these days, get rid of your ego. Get rid of the ego. Let's talk about putting these human egos aside for a minute, and let's think about being just a human being, okay? Just a human being. Let's think about this. Do I want to have my ego and let this go because I want to do that, and I don't care about it's whatever happens to the dog happens to the dog. No. Can't you feel from your heart that this dog needs John, and that he should not be retrained at the age of 10? Let him go and retire for all of the work that this canine, this four-legged canine, has done for not only for the sheriff's department, Brooks County Sheriff's Department, but also for the people who live in Brooks County, right? For the people who live in Falfurrias. Let the canine go to retirement just because he's given all he could. And no one asked him to give that. No, he's given all he could. And the sheriff tells me that, and I sense the bumping of heads between the sheriff and John Gomez. And that was prior to any of this happening. Because when the sheriff told me today, one of the main things he told me was that John did not give, when he gave his 2-week notice, he didn't say, I want Echo to come retire with me. Okay. Isn't that kind of a given? Maybe not. To me it is. But I asked John, I said, why didn't you say that? John was waiting for the sheriff's office, the sheriff to say what would be the fate. There's a lot of head bumping there, because I think that John knows a little too much. John knows a little bit too much when he put his 2 weeks, but he did, as the sheriff, he should have spoke with John. Yeah. And I mean, can't you just put that aside for a minute and say, oh my gosh, this dog, this wonderful living creature, he served us so well. He knows John. Everyone at the shop, at the deputy's office, they know Echo. They know how well he's done, not only bringing in all this money with the drug interdictions, right? But how he's been in the community. you saw, I don't know if you've seen Norma's page, his mother, but with the pictures with John and the kids. I mean, this guy, as I was saying in my Facebook Live video, this guy speaks dog. And if you know what that means, can I see some hearts? If you know what this guy speaks dog means, do you know what that means? To me, this guy speaks dog. The first conversation I think I had last night was about an hour, and he was telling me all about the 8.5 years and this and this and this. Thank you. You do understand. Oh, wait, I just saw, did I see Punk Fanny? Hey, Punk Fanny. What can we get together and do to help the right decision be made? That's an excellent question, Laura Akuff. So, I speak dog. Hey, it's nice to know you. I speak dog too. So now, I also talked to the county attorney, Eric Ramos, and he is on the side, from what I got from him, is he's on the side of letting Echo retire. Now, there's one more, there's another set of influencers here, if you will. And the city commissioners are going to be having a meeting this week, Thursday night. And now, from what I'm told, the agenda on Friday did not include the discussion about the fate of Canine Echo. Now, no, the GoFund, in my personal opinion, this is all about the sheriff, and a GoFundMe, it's just me from those years of experience of getting the vibe and picking up on what people have to say and understanding what they have to say. So the commissioners will have a meeting on Thursday, and Echo will be discussed. There's also talk about, and I don't know if I said this before, that Canine Echo was donated to the, I didn't miss Becca. Is Becca here? I emailed Judge Ramos. Everyone needs to email them. Becca, hi. Sheriff Martinez did talk about, Benny Martinez did talk about the emails he was getting today. But he also said, yeah, he is not an emotional person. And the emails, I got a lot of nasty emails. And that was kind of brushed aside. He's like, I'm not letting my emotion, you cannot let emotions get in the way. The 45-year veteran of law enforcement tells me that, you think and you do, and when you let your emotions get in the way, then that causes the problem. I'm only saying that because that is something he said to me. Yeah. John loves Echo just as much as Echo loves John. They are two peas in a pod. Domi Ray 82 says. Exactly. Because I think, yes, exactly, Becca Isabel. Dry, stoic. He's 68 years old, self-described old school. But at the same time, as someone said earlier, just because you're old school doesn't mean you can't have a heart. And in this case, emotions do get in the way. Because it was raining here earlier. And I was grateful that I could get out of the rain and get in my car. However, as we saw from that, it was a big deluge. I don't know, but I've been told by my friends and everything that over the weekend there were some big rainstorms. That's not, and I'm not saying that was okay for him to be in the kennel there. It was not, but that's, what we saw. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Don't be talking about me like that. So, I believe that the county judge is going to be pushing for Echo to be retiring with John. I believe that the commissioners will be, since this is now on the agenda, they'll be talking about this. But I also believe, too, that the sheriff has not made the final decision. And I think it is because he wants to hear from everybody. And I also think because not necessarily he wants to hear from everybody. I think it's because he wants to make the decision, and he might be basing it on the previous relationship with John. Now, keep in mind, John has been on the police, on the force there since 2017, and he has never been written up once. I was told. That's what he said. Never been written up once, never any behavioral issues. He did say to the sheriff once, I'm not afraid of you, but I don't think that is something that, But there's a lot more, and we all know that, and that's why I got on here to explain things, because, to give you background, because there's a lot more to it that, and there's a reason why John, gave his 2 weeks and said, I'm leaving. And it's not, from what I understand, things that John did. John was telling me that it's the things that are being done. And sometimes when morals, I love having to say it like this. Let me just put it in, and you can take this the way you will. Sometimes we each have different morals and values. And sometimes when people don't have the same morals and values, they bump heads a lot, right? So if you go further down the line, if someone has something, if you will, and the other person lost that something, you have an issue. And to me, I think this all comes down to the human ego. So they know to not send them any more canines. Yeah. And that's the thing. Who is taking care? The ranch manager is supposedly taking care. And again, I was told that he, and this is confirmed, about the food and water today. And that's a great question. What happens till Thursday? So we just have to, he's not doing anything right now. The sheriff's not doing anything right now. I asked him, and again, I gave him unsolicited advice. When's the last time you gave unsolicited advice to a sheriff? For a moment there, I thought, what the hell am I doing? But then I thought, this is right, because I'm the animal advocate as well. And I go with the animal. I go with the animal. Not, now my gosh, it's, I'm in the car, sorry. It looks like it was, freezing up. But you know what? I go with the animal, and that's the bottom line. And in this situation, there's one more player, and that would be I believe it's the ranch who donated, Echo to the Brooks County Sheriff's Department all those years ago. And it's all about the animals, and not the two-legged animals. We're talking about the four-legged ones. And I believe they're getting into this as well. So when you have a lot of people like this in your ear, you may change your mind. And when there's money involved, you may change your mind more quickly. So that's what I know for right now. That's what I know right now. I don't have any other details. So yeah, I'm going to be, I will put the numbers down, once again for the sheriff's office, and, as well as the county attorney, as well as the commissioners, because now the commissioners, the meeting again on, did they ever change that? That's what I wanted to know. The green nasty bucket, and give them food. The food and water came today. I'm not sure if they changed that green nasty bucket. I think that was algae. That kennel hadn't been used in a long time. So, the first video that you saw with him with Echo out in the rain, that was in front of the sheriff's office when they had that huge downpour. And then the second video was after that, which is where Echo is now, and that is at the ranch where he's being held. So yeah, you know what? That's all we can do well, no, that's not all we can do. The commissioners, they need to be, I need to get you their phone numbers and emails, because, as I said, Benny Martinez, the sheriff, saw the emails. He's like, but I hear the county attorney, though, the county judge, pushing towards John, the dog should be retired to John. And again, the county judge doesn't have the ultimate say, but he's suggesting this to the from one. Yep. But also, there's one other thing I failed to mention, and that is there was talk from the county attorney today, who asked if John had the proper kennel equipment at his home if Echo were to be retired. To me, that was a positive sign. That was a good sign. And John doesn't, because he returned everything he had to the sheriff's department, right? Wow. He did what he was supposed to do. He returned everything he had to the sheriff's department, even though he didn't want to do that, because Echo is his life. Hello, Echo is his life, right? So, but he said, you know what, I can go out and get it right away. I can get everything I need to get for Echo and we'll be fine. So that was a positive sign too. So I spoke to that's what I was saying. I spoke to all of them, and that's where we stand right now. And, I just hope that we can get to a resolution quickly, because yes, I forget who, was it Cassie? Was it you who said, that who's going to take care of Echo until Thursday when the commissioners meeting? Yeah, this is how they're treating someone who gave the service for 8.5 years. Yeah, 8.5 years. So again, that Echo was donated. And now, also I should say that the canine associations across Texas are calling John. And, John did an interview with Channel 6 today on the phone. And he's a really shy person. For him to allow those pictures to be put out on his mom's page was a lot. But he's trying to make that point that, you know what, don't take my son away from me. Because if you took Aja, my dog, and she's not just a dog, she's my daughter, don't take my daughter away from me. Because, if you take my daughter away from me, so here I am right now, right? I'm in the parking lot of Dunkin' Donuts, if you saw the sign, because there's good internet. Yeah, don't take my daughter. If there was a car coming right now and Aja was right there, I'd throw myself in front of the car so the car would not hit Aja. If that's what that's how I feel for animals. That's how oh man, hell would be raised if anyone took forever, right? Right. So that's what I'm saying, so I don't think, I have this hunch that the sheriff is going to come around. Again, animal advocates, we want, that dog right now, he is in that fenced in kennel. He doesn't belong there. I know we all want him out, but it's not going to happen that quick unless someone goes in there and breaks him out, but that's against the law. And yeah, keeping a canine in conditions like that, yeah, isn't that neglect? Isn't that neglect? Thank you, Paul, for all you're doing. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, mess with my dogs and they won't find your body. You can mess with people down in Texas and they won't find your body. He's going to be forced to, rightfully so. So, you know what? I think that at this point, the pressure still needs to be kept on, Again, it's up to the sheriff. I just need to read this because I know it's good. The real Medialium, I hope I pronounced it right. I probably didn't. Amazed me that these canines can take a bullet, protect, and serve the community, but yet he isn't good enough to be honored by them. He didn't ask to be a canine, but they need to do better. Yeah. Hey, I've done some canine stories recently where the canine was left in the back of a patrol unit, and in Missouri, I think it was Savannah, Missouri, and yeah. And then they realized it, and then they buried him, or was it her? It was a him, in a hole they had just buried. They dug up a hole and buried the canine. There was another canine in Texas who was communally buried. This goes on. This happens. Becca knows too. I mean, we all know this is happening. So at this point, I wish I could go down there and, yesterday, as I said, pet the dog, pet Echo, give him the food, what he needs. But at this point, let's get continue the emailing and the phone calls. But I do have this strong feeling, and this is just me speaking, take it for whichever way you want. Echo's going to go with John. I get that. I feel that. The sheriff needs to do the best. I'm not going to say the right or wrong. The sheriff needs to do the best thing for one of his deputies. And the best thing for one of his deputies is to be with the man who had him, worked with him side by side, who treats him like a son for the last 8.5 years. The only person this dog essentially has known. Actually, he knows all the deputies, and they love him. The deputies love him. You see the pictures with the kids? The kids love him. The community loves Echo. And, just to the ego. And all the things that go on that we don't know about, but certain people do. And that's why certain people kind of they try to give the short end of the stick to, because you know things, and you might know too much. Maybe. Just because John didn't give his resignation, just because John gave his 2 weeks and didn't say, I would like to take Canine Echo with me, and the sheriff said that was a big issue because he says John should have told me that he wanted Canine Echo to go home with him. Is that like splitting hairs or what? I don't know. But when I heard that, I was just, again, and I understand where the sheriff is coming from. I hear him, I listen to him, but at the same time, I hear and listen to John, and I know how I am as far as dogs go. So, again, emailing, phone calls, and pressure. One of the reporters from Channel 6 wanted to do an interview with John, but John's shy. He doesn't want to be on camera, and I think it's like someone used this phrase today, I'm not here to see who has the bigger, I won't say the whole word, but you know what I'm saying. Hinojosa, yeah, that is good. You mean Chewy? Becca, Chewy Hinojosa? Is that who you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, ego. Chewy Hinojosa is, yes. Chewy Hinojosa will listen to you in a minute. That man is gold. He's an elected politician, but boy, he came from nothing. He went to war. He served our country, and he came back. He's a decent man. Yes. So lily pad there again. So yeah, that's what I know so far. And Echo can go with John, but right now, the sad part is Echo has to be in that kennel. He doesn't have to be in that kennel. The sad part is Echo is in that kennel and wants his partner and can't because ego. Sometimes an ego needs to be squashed. I learned that the hard way years ago. Look who just joined. Oh, Miss Sierra. So yeah, I learned that the hard way, but you know what? Now it is up to the sheriff, and there's a lot of influencers coming his way. Like I said, the county judge, the county attorney, the commissioners, and also the farm or the ranch where Echo originally came from. So that's the deal right now. We'll see what happens, but that's the most I could do from here. And when I gave the sheriff some unsolicited advice, again, I was like, well, are you kidding, Paul? But yeah, I needed to do that. That was God telling me. That was God. Because lately I'm like, you know what? I don't care if people get pissed at me. You know, I just, and I don't care about their agenda. I care about the animal, the dog, the cat, the elephant, the zebra, whatever kind of animal you want to give me, right? The wolf too. So yeah, the canine organizations are also rallying around John as well. So there's another positive, there's another positive thing for him. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I've kept you too long, but I just wanted to let you know what's going on, and you know, that's the situation. If you could get the message out there, that would be great. You know, we need to stay on topic. So it's all about emailing and calling the sheriff, I'm going to say the county attorney too right now, because if the county attorney asked John if he had the necessary equipment for Echo, there's something happening. So the sheriff, the county attorney, the county judge, Ramos, as well as the commissioners, and I'm going to put all that information on the page. I'm not, and to Colorado Kate, I'm not making a new TikTok. We're done with that. That's censorship, and it's an agenda, and it reminds me what many local TV news organizations are today. There's an agenda, and I'm not going to go along with TikTok's agenda. I'm going to tell you the truth, the animal cruelty, what's happening, the reality of it. And situations like this canine and so many other canines as well. I'm not going back to TikTok because you know what? Don't censor me. I'm there for the animals again. And I'm not there to be censored by TikTok because they want people dancing and, you know, making money and selling their products. I'm here for this. I'm on Instagram now, fully, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, just because, you know what? I want the truth out, not necessarily what I have to say unalived instead of killed on a TikTok live or letters. No, that's not the way it is. Doesn't have a, so yeah, I'm not hiding things either. So, you know, we did well with the Columbus, Georgia animal shelter situation. We did well with the Marlin, Texas dogs as well. They got the advocates there got to the governor, who got to the Texas to the I'm losing my head for a minute. The Rangers, so the Texas Rangers, and we know that the only people who really can, you know, call in the Texas Rangers are the county sheriff and the district attorney, and neither of them called the Rangers in, but somehow the animal advocates were able to get a booklet full of information to the governor, Greg Abbott, and he and his staff saw that something needed to be done, or else they wouldn't have given it to the Texas Rangers. So, you know what? We put the pressure on, we keep it on, and we make sure that it's not about what's best for the person. It's about what's best for the animal. And let me tell you, if a dog can sniff out cancer, and that's exactly what one dog did for a friend of mine who was a dog trainer in Florida. If a dog can sniff out, you know, cancer, if that dog worked so tirelessly for the community, for the sheriff's department for all those years, it's not just a dog. It's not just a dog. That canine, the canine often goes out and puts their life on the line, and they have no idea what they're doing as far as what they're up against. They know how to handle themselves, but they don't know what they're up against, and they just go in blindly, essentially. You know? So I'd like to see Echo retire. And I want to see Echo retire. And we can make this happen. We can make this happen. But you know what? We need to keep moving and keep going and keep the pressure on. The sheriff's told me about the email, nasty emails. I'm sure he didn't respond to them. But still, keep pushing. It's never just a dog. It's a living sentinel life. Exactly, Ilani. Exactly. Always retires with a hand in the neck of the woods. My sister-in-law is a canine handler. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, I've always seen canines retire with their handler. Haven't you seen on videos? The sheriff will, or the sheriff's deputy or the police officer will be in the car and the canine is right here. And then they do that last call for service. And the canine handler gets so emotional. And, you know, that bond. Why would you want to break up that bond? Why would you want to break up that bond? If you break up that bond, it's purely for selfish reasons. It's purely for selfish reasons. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, if you strip away all the layers of issues that you might have had with somebody, you know, if you strip all that away, the dog's well-being, the four-legged animal, the four-legged son of John Gomez, that is what should be here right now on the table and talks to how they're going to put him into retirement with John. That's it. I mean, come on. You know, just because John didn't ask the sheriff what's going to happen with, I'd like to take Canine Echo with me. I listened to the sheriff. To me, in my personal, humble opinion, that is not a good enough reason because John didn't ask. Period. And it's not a good enough reason because he told the sheriff he's not afraid of the sheriff. And it's not a good enough reason because he knows a lot that goes on. What is a good enough reason is Echo's well-being and forever home. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. I don't care about anything else. Oh, you guys are talking about me. I see that. Yeah, Echo needs back with his dad. Okay, a piece of equipment, right? Well, and sincerely, Cindy, you know what? The canine, it's considered a piece of equipment that costs thousands to train, so they keep the canine in service until a certain age. Do you know what age? I'm curious because, and again, this canine Echo was donated. From what I've been told by several people. I thought you were going to say stop being an ass, Paul. He should be retired, right? And the sheriff also said, you know, yeah, Echo was donated, right? From the ranch who is now getting involved again. Okay? So the ranch is now getting involved. The ranch who originally apparently gave Echo to this sheriff's department because they, you know what? Because they probably knew, you know what? They could use a canine, you know, on their force. They serve and protect us as people, as citizens. Yes. And now they see this is happening. It's interesting that they're getting involved again. So yeah, that's going to be it. Let's, you know, all I can say is justice for Echo. And at the same time, I'm going to put those phone numbers up, and emails. So, it'll be the Sheriff Benny Martinez, the county judge Eric Ramos. I don't know the name of the county attorney, and I do not know the names of the commissioners off the top of my head. But, that's it. The pressure's on. The commissioners meeting is Thursday night. Please reply to my text regarding another video you did on some GSD. And another thing, you guys, I love it when you all come with stories for me to cover. But at this point, I'm only one person, and I can't handle all these requests every day. I'm working on it. The nonprofit is coming along. It's in the works. And the website is also in the works. So it's happening because right now it's me and a legal, my legal partner who's in Corpus Christi, by the way. So yeah, I wonder if the PD will ever, or that sheriff's department will ever get another canine donated as well. Lisa Lynn, 44. Yeah, one at a time. Umartinez at co.brooks.tx.us. Thank you, the real Medillium. I know. Martinez, which stands for Urbino. It's Urbino Benny Martinez. So Martinez, and then you'd have the county judge, Eric. So it would be, I think that's Ramos at co.brooks.tx for Texas.us. But I'm going to get everything to you a little bit later on if you don't have the numbers already, here and on Facebook. I'm going to message you about Provost and the okay. Okay. Ramos, right? No, that's not Ramos at VO. It's Ramos at C as in Charlie O. Just let you know. I know these. I can barely type. Thank you, Colorado Kate. So yes, the pressure is on. Let's do this. Justice for Echo, because he deserves it. Period. Bottom line. End of story. What's going on? Brooklyn, we're just ending right now, Brooklynella. But yeah, that's the latest. As soon as I get something more, I'm going to get it to you. I promise. You know me. Keep the pressure on, folks. I will too. How do I end this? Okay, wait, someone wants to come up. Request to join the Mrs. Terro. Just requested to join. I had a lot of people request to join. I'm sorry, but I was so into getting my thoughts across as I deal with my ADD, attention deficit. Okay, let's keep on. God bless. Have a good night, everybody. And if I do get anything new tonight, I will bring it to you as quickly as I get it. Thanks for taking this cause. Oh no, you don't need to thank me. If there's a dog or an animal involved, I'm there. If I'm not in 20 other million stories. So let's do it. Let's keep the pressure on. Canine Echo and former deputy John Gomez. Okay? All right. We'll talk soon.